country is doomed. It is doomed because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics.
Joe shows
make up a larger portion of the population. Y'all do.
So, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAHSHI'S, double honors to apostles of GMS, and sincere shalom to the brothers out there pushing this truth in sincerity. Now, going into this clip that I found, here's the problem with this. As someone even in the comment section even showed this, that he's been showing his true colors. But see, here's the bigger problem, is that this entire country is showing its true colors, because guess what? Who rules it? Them bankers. Them small hats. And guess what? They set up people as the frontmen to also show them true colors, because guess what? Instead of having the fingers pointing at them, these people can have their fingers pointing at their test dummies. The face, the quote-unquote face of this country. And that's why people fail to understand. They only point their fingers to the president. They don't point their fingers to who's actually setting them up. To who the ones that's actually in charge of this place. So a lot of people will duck and dodge this, but it's the fact that social media, because of social media, everybody only has that veil across their eyes. They don't see the bigger picture. They don't see what's actually going on. They see who's on that screen, or who they see that's in that White House, and they think they're automatically the problem. When this entire country, this entire society is the problem. The ones who run it is the main problem, which is why they need to be taken out of power when the Lord ultimately comes back and destroys this place. But let's go into some scriptures. This is Psalms 49:11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So this is one part where that this is will always be an ongoing thing until the Lord comes back and destroy this place. Reason being is because, as you heard in the scripture, they believe that this place is going to continue forever. So they got to make their plans happen. They got to make moves. They got to fast forward with their agendas. And all he's saying is basically what the cheap suits are saying. Because their plan is population control. So yes, they want it mostly, quote unquote, European white. And people fail to understand this is what they've been wanting. Each president just been setting up the table for the next one to come up and finish what the other one started. Or continue with. Because you have to remember, we don't own a damn thing in this society. So they get to make the rules, the play games, the chessboards, and we're just the pawns. The average civilians in this society is just the pawns. Because think about it. Who's in control of the taxes? They tax you for water. They tax you for air. Hell, they even tax you to fucking use a shopping cart in Aldi's for just a fucking quarter. You get it back, but guess what? People had to scrounge around trying to get a quarter just to use a cart. Hell, in Canada, now they got a cart that you got to put in $1. You get it back, but guess what? Not a lot of people carry money like that. Everybody's money is on cards. So they play around with the system and say, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to trick bag that, trick bag this, and all sorts of other stuff. These people don't have the slightest clue what's really going on. And that's why, being in this truth, this is why brothers always have the upper hand. Brothers and sisters that be watching and learning This is why we always had the upper hand, expecting or knowing that none of this stuff surprises us, but that we want these things to happen. Why? Because it is all part of prophecy, and that we want to get out of here. This is Revelations 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time." And see, the reason they're so open with this is because they know they have such a short time. That's why they're not hiding it no more. Hell, even if they wanted to hide it, they wouldn't have this guy in office who just blurs out anything and everything. An old decrepit freak that's actually doing his job, basically. So let's go into that word inhabit. This is one that occupies a particular place regularly, routinely, or for a period of time. And guess what? Going back to that scripture, it says, "Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea." Who's in control of the earth? Whose ships do you mostly see sailing on the sea? Who's creating all these wars? Who's funding these wars? Why is this place the main commodity for import and export? These are questions that a lot of people would not actually pay attention to, especially when it's relating to the scripture. Sure, you can see other people be having ships on the seas, battleships and all this stuff, but who's in control of the earth? Whoever controls the earth not only owns the systems, the societies, but also the waters. Of course, there's territories, but guess what? If they want to go into another country and actually bomb the place or make deals, they can do it because they had the money to do so. But he's only able to do this for a short amount of time, or for it says for a period of time. And guess what? In that scripture, it says because he knows he has but a short time, and so now he's got to speed up the process and all this other stuff. That includes population control. He also controls the skies. Not only does he has jets that can bomb areas, he also has jets that can spray chemtrails and get people sick. But on top of that, he has a global orbiting device that scans literally everything on this planet. So he's working fast, believe it or not, because he knows he has but a short time. This society, this country hasn't been built but so long, actually. It's only been, what, 300, 400 years now? Compared to other societies that, hell, other kingdoms that we even made. We ruled for 1,000. So, what more of them? So, they're moving fast with the agenda. They know what they're doing. They don't even care if they actually tell what they're doing. Because guess what? Before I was born, the whole Illuminati thing was like, quote unquote, a myth buster. To see, because not a lot of people believed it, but it was heard of. But now, shit, when I was back in high school, they was talking about the Illuminati, and it was just so, people was acting so shocked about it. Like, it was like this wasn't a normal thing in America. But it's been a thing before we was even born a lot of times. So a lot of people don't misunderstand these things. So this is Psalms 21:11. It says, "For they intended evil against thee. They have imagined a mischievous device, which they are not able to perform." And see, when that whole agenda plan tries to kick in, especially with all the prophecies that's meant to happen, such as the micrograin and list of other things, all his plans that he thinks are working will ultimately fail. Let me read that again. So this is Psalms 21:11. It says, "For they intended evil against thee." That's exactly what he's done. They have imagined the mischievous devices. It says, which they are not able to perform. He's not able to perform all this. He's not, which ultimately goes into succeed. He's not able, which they are not able to succeed. So, actually, sorry. So, no matter what he's planning on doing, it won't work. But the Lord has a spirit on him to put that mindset that yes, it will. Yes, it will. That's what it is. Let's go into that word perform actually, because only says because that was actually in the newer Bible. That's what they translated it to, quote unquote. But it says to perform. It says to adhere to the terms of fulfill, which actually was why they mentioned succeed. It says carry out to do in a formal manner or according to prescribed ritual, to give rendition of present, to carry out an action or a pattern of behavior, act or function. So, going back to that first one, it says to adhere to the terms of fulfill. So, let's go back. It says, for they intended evil against thee, they have imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to fulfill. So they're not able to fill their plans, point blank. Just as simple. That's why we gotta have faith in the Lord, because no matter what they throw at us, it's you can even scare the hell out of you, but it's not supposed to deter your faith. We may even struggle, but it's not supposed to deter your faith, because we know that their plans will not be fulfilled. So that's even the better knowing that the Lord's power is much more greater. And that's why prayer is always important. Always. So Lord willing, this is edifying. And with that, Shalom.